and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Trevor fires for the back of the end zone, and that ball is going to be caught for the touchdown by Brian Thomas Jr. What a throw and catch. He tiptoed along the end line. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Fires deep downfield. Got a man. That's Brian Thomas Jr. 50 in the Colts territory. 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. Just went 85 yards.
He's a playmaker. That's what stands out to me. It's just not one thing. We all know he's fast. I can't really point to his releases. Can't really point to how he comes out of his routes. He just makes plays.
Looking, steps up, fires to the back of the end zone. Brian Thomas Jr. Did he double catch it? Yes, it and touchdown. He bobbled it but hung on. Brian Thomas Jr. has the score, and Jacksonville is taking the lead.
Yeah, he's only going to get better once he masters his craft as far as his stance off the line and as far as come off the ball. You'll see in games to come, he'll get better, and even next year, he's going to be even that much better than he is right now. Right now, he's just getting his feet wet and showing us what he can do. So I'm looking for this guy to be a big-time playmaker for us in the years to come, and I'm glad to have him part of the Jaguars.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
Oh, there you go. Tom McManus risking cooties today in the studio. He told me he wasn't sure he was going to wear that community headset. It looks good on you, Tommy.
Thank you.
It actually doesn't. What are you doing
I
over
gotta
there?
open it up. It's a little tight.
All right. You got that big head, man.
I know. Big head Tom.
Square head Tom.
That's right.
Blockhead.
Like this.
Meathead.
That's right. It's got its purpose.
You go with it, right?
Knowledge.
I mean, how's everything? How's your week?
Week's great. Week's fantastic, man. Had a really productive week. Looking forward to the weekend. Nothing too crazy. Looking forward to Final Four. Looking forward to that. That'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to getting closer to the draft. I mean, there's so much talk, so much scuttlebutt. What's going on?
We're getting there.
Yeah. Every mock's got us taking Graham, or Mason Graham. Seems like
not
it.
MJD's mock.
Oh, what did MJD? I didn't click on it. What did he go with?
MJD. What are you doing to us over here?
What did he go with?
MJD had Cam Ward going first overall. Not a shock. Good job, MJD.
Yeah.
1 for 1.
Yeah.
Abdul Carter going to the Cleveland Browns.
Number 2.
Seems reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Let's hope the Giants take a quarterback. They do. Shador Sanders.
Really?
All right. Well, You know what? Some people think yes. Others think he's falling.
Falling, right.
And so Patriots, we're holding our fingers crossed, and what are they going to do? Oh, they're going offensive line. That means we get to take Ted McMillan.
Oh.
Instead of Travis Hunter.
Instead of Travis Hunter?
Yes, instead of Travis Hunter.
Whoa. Wow.
Yes, instead of Travis Hunter.
No, I think
MJD,
Trav's pretty much everybody. Don't you think? In that first 5 picks?
If Travis Hunter's there, I think he'll be a Jaguar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tony. I think the chances are extremely low that Travis Hunter will be there, but they're astronomically low that Hunter and Carter would be there, right? I mean, just that they are, right?
Yeah.
But maybe this would have to be like the scenario like Cleveland goes with Mason Graham because we got our big-time edge rusher who we're paying $40 million. We need a defensive tackle to go with him. Yeah. So they go Graham. Shador Sanders goes to the Giants, and the Patriots go O-line. And then we have the choice between Carter and Hunter. Even in that scenario, I think Hunter is, for me, anyway. What do you think?
Well, what if Carter turns out to be Micah Parsons?
What if he does? I mean,
I don't know.
If Hunter
you want to play him in wideout, right?
Right.
Well, is he that good of a corner?
I don't know.
Or, whatever.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I mean, look, we're already that's the thing about that spot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of money invested in Josh Hines Allen, and not that far down the road, we're going to have a lot of money invested in Trayvon Walker, I believe.
Absolutely.
So
why grab another edge?
Or do you grab another edge because maybe in a couple of years you move off that contract,
right?
Josh Hines Allen, and restart the cycle. I'm not saying it'd be a bad thing to do. I'm just, again, it's kind of like the Jalen Walker thing, Tone. We talked about him at 5. He's much more appealing to me if I get paid off anything. Like move back for a third-round pick to pick 7.
Gotcha.
Jets jump up, take whomever they're going to take. Shedeur Sanders, if he's there. And
I mean, yeah, the obvious, if you're looking at the needs with those two guys, yeah, they have more of a need at corner or wide receiver than they do directly at edge, right?
Okay.
With a guy that has
Fair.
to come in and be an impact player immediately. They do. But look, you're picking where you're picking. If one of those guys were available, I think it makes it easy on your decision on what to do in the draft, and you figure out what to do. You know, with Carter, if he's the guy that lands in Jacksonville, I don't expect
look at it
that to
this
be
way.
the case.
If you're the Browns, who should you take?
No, right.
Browns could use both. I mean, I know they have Myles Garrett, but they could use another guy opposite him who's probably never going to see a double team.
Right.
And or could they use playmakers on that team? They could. Now that's presuming they don't go the quarterback path. I don't think it's a slam dunk.
I feel like we have so many needs that, like, I'm going to be okay with just about anything. You know what I mean? Based on position. You know, if it's Ted, even if it's Gianti, I can kind of get it. I wouldn't go that route, but, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, that's a terrible pick. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think – because think about it. You could upgrade tackle on offense. You could upgrade defensive tackle on defense. Definitely could upgrade corner. Can upgrade safety.
Upgrade tight end. You upgrade anything
right.
you go for, you could upgrade, basically, right? Offensive line. So today – the Chet and Sandy real estate question of the day is, this is kind of like, I don't know if nightmare scenario might be a little strong, but this is maybe the worst case scenario for the Jags in this, unless a trade market develops. But in our question, you have to presume it doesn't, okay? Because nobody wants to come up and get Sanders. So in whatever order, Cam Ward's off the board, Travis Hunter's off the board, Abdul Carter's off the board, and the fourth team takes Mason Graham. Whoever even feels like, oh, that's the safe fallback for Jacksonville. Those four are gone. So Carter, Hunter, Graham really are the ones you're concerned. We know Ward's not, in the picture for the Jags. He's going to be gone. So nobody wants to come up for Shedeur Sanders. What do you do there? What would you most prefer the Jags do? The options we're giving folks today. Ashton Genty, the running back out of Boise State, who many have ranked as a top 5-6 type player. Jalen Walker, Tone, more and more people have him as a top 5 or 6 ranked player. Best offensive lineman available. That way, we didn't want to get into Membo versus Campbell and split the.
Yeah, sure.
Whoever the Jags think is that best offensive fit on the line, or the best pass catcher available, meaning a Tet McMillan or a Tyler Warren.
Warren, right?
That's probably the list you'd be choosing from right there. So you can vote on that one today and
good list.
Let us know your thoughts. I would not. I would. It may turn out. By the way, we don't know how these guys are all going to turn out, including Travis Hunter. But if they were to take Tet McMillan with Travis Hunter on the board, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think you got to think that nobody trumps Travis Hunter if he's on the board.
Right? That's the thing, except maybe Abdul Carter. I don't know how they feel about Abdul Carter. But chances are
both of them aren't going to be
They're both going to be gone. I think they're probably both not going to be there at 4.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I don't. But Matt Miller did say, we had him on yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago.
A couple days ago, yeah.
He, in the draft buzz column that they do at ESPN, that he talked to a scout who claimed the worst kept secret in the NFL is that the Giants love Shedeur Sanders.
Really?
Love Shedeur Sanders.
Wow.
So then one of the points the guy made was that they were at every Colorado game this year, to which Tony immediately said, anybody else play for Colorado that might be under consideration? Like, I don't know, Travis Hunter? Like, how do you know that they love Shedeur Sanders?
Right.
But they want you to think they love Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I always think nothing happens without reason. So they address the QB, and we may sit there like, but it's it's Jameis or it's Russ. So what? That doesn't matter. But I don't know. To me, that gives them insurance where they don't have to pick.
They don't have to, but look at the Falcons last year.
Yeah,
a huge deal to Kirk Cousins.
That's true.
And took, the fourth quarterback off the board?
They did.
Last year.
Yeah,
now different quarterback class and all that. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean the Giants are going to do the same thing.
Right.
I have no idea.
I don't know. You hear these two quarterbacks wouldn't be ranked very high last year. Throws a really monkey wrench in it for me.
That's a great segue, unbeknownst to you. But I'm telling you that it is. Because Matt Miller did a piece on prospects that have actual first-round grades, in his opinion. Okay. What do you think the number is?
Out of the 32?
Yeah, out of 30. How many people are real first-round grades? The other ones.
I know it's slow. I just kept hearing it slow, so I'll just guess. I'll say 11.
13.
Okay.
So not many.
Yeah, I've been hearing that it was pretty low.
Right. Less than half the first round are legit, and that the feeling is, according to him, that a pick in the middle of the first round is no more valuable than a pick in the middle of the second round or comparable value. Right. I don't know exactly about that, but I wonder, outside of a few handful of elite players, if anyone's going to be interested in trading up in this draft at all.
Yeah.
I
think it really, whatever the Giants do will kind of trigger some things, I think,
At the top.
Yeah.
For sure. And maybe at the bottom, too, because if Cleveland and the Giants don't go quarterback, and then it becomes how far does Shedeur Sanders fall?
Right.
And then there's Jackson Dart. So do you, or is Tyler Shuck or any of these other guys, do one of those teams try to jump back into the late first? That's, I think, the most likely trade-up scenario.
Yeah.
Get the fifth-year option on your quarterback to have another year of team control. So, anyway, we'll get into a bunch of draft stuff today, Jaguar stuff in general. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 641-1010 on the phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can fire up the YouTube virtual studio, watch the program, listen to the program, and interact in the chat there. You can hit us up as well on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
There's my man. Well, good morning, young Denmark. How are you?
What's going on, man?
A little golf on Sunday is what's going on. Me and Denver, we've got a spot open, Tommy. You're more than welcome. Tom goes, ooh, and until we invite him, then he goes, nah, not doing that. Ooh, that sounds
I'll be honest. Yesterday, I was throwing the ball with the dogs. I was like, on the front yard, I was like,
at the dogs?
No, I throw the ball, no.
And I thought
the dogs, they chase it, they bring it back.
I thought you said I was throwing the ball at the dogs. Yeah, fetch.
You ever hear that, fetch?
Is that a new one? Come up with that?
I was thinking maybe hitting balls.
Really?
Golf balls, yeah. I really was.
That's what I assumed you meant.
So I don't know if I'll make it anywhere, but at least it came into the brainwaves.
Family in town?
No, my wife's traveling, so I'm kind of,
Come on
I've
down.
got my youngest.
Come with the boys. You can carpool with Denmark down in my neck of the woods. Play a little golf on Sunday.
I don't know, man. I don't know if the body would like that too much.
I know, and the answer is a big fat no.
Would never be a big fat no to you, but just maybe a little no.
Just a small, definitive no.
A small
Absolutely
no,
not going to do that. All right, let's have a little fun today talking draft. What would you do if the Jags couldn't trade out? What direction would you like to see them go with pick 5 if the usual suspects plus Mason Graham are off the board? We'll hear from James Gladstone coming up, his conversation with John Oehser. We've got some of that to talk about today as well. This is Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. He doesn't pull punches.
You want to punch me right now, but you won't.
He doesn't beat around the bush.
You got aggression? That's even better. You're going to need that too.
Rick Ballou is the truth teller.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Wait, what?
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Clayton, I've got a simple question. How much does a 1-carat diamond cost?
Frank, that's an impossible question to answer because a carat is only a measure of weight for gemstones. It'd be no different than me saying, I have a beautiful wife. She weighs 125 pounds, which you'd find is a ridiculous description. Diamonds are graded for 4 factors, and carat weight is only one of those factors. The others are cut, color, and clarity, and each of these factors is graded specifically and set by a certified gemologist in an accredited gem laboratory. So when you ask about a diamond's weight, we're going to tell you more than just the price. At Underwood's, we want a customer to understand how all 4 factors of diamond quality relate back to the rarity and value of the diamond. Needless to say, we all understand the value of a dollar. At Underwood's, we want our customers to know what their dollar buys in diamond value. So if you're shopping for the best, stop by Underwood's.
That's at Underwood's in San Marco, in Avondale, or at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. you've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks, and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Scholar athletes don't just score on the field. They also excel in the classroom.
That's why 1010XL salutes the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Franchi Show, brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast, and if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, couple of things here. Denmark, I don't know. You know, you just never know what you're going to get. Life's like a box of chocolates. Some of those chocolates can be rotten, though. And somebody hit us up on the text line, wants to know what time we're teeing off, and they will come be the fourth.
Wow,
so
that's impressive.
I've done that before. I've done a few like, hey, 3 people right now, and I've taken force them.
You know
to go
what?
Play
That
middle
sounds
of the
like
afternoon.
a reality show. Blind golf dates.
Blind golf dates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be good. Could be bad.
Could be bad.
I'll tell you right now, if you're a scratch player, don't play with us. You're gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be a long day.
You're gonna be wasting a lot of time, my boy.
No doubt about it. Right?
Yeah.
Right. When you're walking, hey, I think we'll play from the tips. It's like, no, we won't.
No, you can. Right? Like, no, we won't. When I was learning how to play tennis, just for a brief period of time, I got into tennis in college, right? It was a great thing to do. You're out, get a lot of sun, the girls, the whole thing, right? So somebody said you should hit with someone better than you every week, rally, just practice.
Back and forth.
And you should hit with someone worse than you because playing against someone who's better than you elevates your game.
Okay.
Right? And you pay it forward by doing it with somebody else. And then you can hit with your regular, evenly matched partner. Not the same in golf, I find.
Right.
I don't want to play with people significantly better than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just hold you up, so you wouldn't want to play with me.
Oh, I would, because my game would look good in comparison.
The scratch.
That's what I'm all
the
about.
homeowners would be yelling at me, not you, for hitting them into their homes and stuff.
Understood. I don't know what the real rules of that are, by the way, if you live on a course. And I do live on a course. Yeah. Like somebody did. I talk about Pella windows. True story. I'm not making it up. Okay. Somebody hit a golf ball into my living room, right? Wow. And I didn't hear it. I wasn't there or whatever, and I found it, and they didn't do anything. They clearly knew. You know if you bust a window.
You hear
Every time you hit one towards the house, Tony, you're listening. You're like, please don't.
I busted a window once playing out at Westland when that was still open.
Okay.
I hit a golf ball into somebody's window, and I went over and said, hey.
I would expect that out of Tony Smith.
Right. I was like, what do we want to do here? Like, what can I do to make it right? And they were like, don't worry about it. It's covered. I'm like, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but you did the thing. Like, I think most people would be like,
right,
keep on going. Right. I really don't know what the rule is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known.
But we're playing with my buddy. The same course Dylan and I are going to play on Sunday.
Yep.
And there's a dog leg left, and there's a house that wasn't there when the course was built, right? So they built the house right at the corner of the dog leg.
Right.
It's basically a target.
It's basically a target.
Like, I'm not going to aim for the corner. I'm aiming for the corner.
I'm trying to go around the corner here, or maybe I hit it
Where'd they
where
come
I
up
was
with dog leg. Dog lifting the leg?
Dog's legs are like crooked, right? You ever look at a dog's leg? It's like
bow
they don't
legged?
stand straight like us. They're kind of like dog's legs are like crooked. Yeah. Go bring up a picture.
Oh,
of
I see what you're saying. Okay. Dog leg left to right.
Dog leg.
I thought it meant like when they raise their leg and it makes a...
Maybe that too, but I don't think it's that. Anyway, guy I'm playing with hits a ball off the guy's roof, right off his solar panels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the guy comes out like a maniac. Hey, Mom!
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. And maybe if he had come out with a different attitude, might have got a different result. I thought there was going to be a throwdown on the 8th fairway right there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, listen, I've hit into many neighborhoods, and I apologize. I just can't control it.
I hit a house the other day.
Can't control it.
What are you going to do?
I shouldn't.
Sometimes they go offline.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a homeowner, like I remember hitting a car once that was parked next to the house, broke his windshield. He was very mad. But it went over a pond, like the tee box. It was Windsor Park, number 9, I think.
Okay.
Asshole going in and big pond, and I still went over the pond and still went over his fence. Still hit
the car
on the side of the house. He was really mad, but he calmed down as I approached closer. He tended to
sized you up a little bit right there.
And I was sorry. I mean, I'm like, look, man, I didn't mean it. I'm a terrible golfer. And the argument is, well, maybe you shouldn't be playing, Tom. I'd be like, yeah, it's a pretty good argument.
This guy,
it's really hard to argue that argument.
This guy on the text line knows exactly who this guy is, apparently.
Oh, really?
The guy with the house, yeah, because he thought it was a different hole. He goes, was it like 14? And that is a dog leg left as well. Okay. So he clearly knows the course. He goes, oh, yeah, 8. That guy's a so-and-so as well. Yes.
I better not play that course.
Anyway, all right, let's move off of this and get Matt Miller, I mentioned, has a small group of people that he has an actual first-round grade on. Obviously, 32 players go in the first round. They'll end up being, quote, first-rounders. But how many in a typical year would be considered first-rounders? He has 13 of those players. So I'm going to task you and Tony to come up with those 13. I'll give you the position. You tell me how many players from that position group and which players those are. Starting with quarterback. Are there any first-round quarterbacks?
No first-round grades.
None.
Quarterback.
What do you say, Tommy?
I would say Cam
Ward. Tony Smith is correct. On that one.
Bunch of those lists, I see him, sometimes he'll be as high as like 11 or 12, but usually he's like 15.
Yeah.
On just the pure list.
He said both Sanders and Ward are talented and are being selected high in mocks, including my own, but I wouldn't be comfortable calling them first-round prospects based on this past season's tape or the pre-draft circuit. That said, it's a safe bet that both get drafted in the top 5 as quarterbacks always go early. Well, we hope that's the case.
Yes.
Have you ever been able to pass your pick?
You can pass your pick.
I mean, you can trade it.
No, you can pass. I mean, remember the Jags when they drafted Byron Leftwich?
Right.
Minnesota let the clock run out, not intentionally.
Right.
And the Jags ran the pick up for Leftwich.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just let the time out. You're like,
the question becomes, because this became a debate at the time.
Yeah.
Let's say, I like this guy, but I know I could get him at 15. Why pay him 7th pick money?
Right.
Right? And that I'm going to let him fall, and then I'm going to pay him as a 15th pick. Well,
and that was at a time where that made a huge difference.
Right. Because at the top, Sam Bradford was the last guy. He got a $50 million guaranteed
signing bonus.
Signing bonus, right. And now you're like, your total contract as the first pick is like 20-something million for 4 years. Right. So anyway, the contention, the argument at the time was that agents would just be like, sorry, you had the 7th pick. Just because you're a screw up, you're gonna pay us like you had the 7th pick, and then you open up this whole can of worms, and you're basically telling this guy, we like you, but we like you on the cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a great way to start off.
It's bad optics.
I would not want a quarterback. That just would really bum me out. If I needed a QB, and these two were.
This was the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
right here.
I don't know.
All right, so no quarterbacks.
Okay.
How many running backs would you say have a first-round grade, if any?
One, Genty.
Tommy? Anybody else?
I'm just going to take a risk. I'm with that Hampton kid. Where's he from? He's kind of a bigger back.
North Carolina.
Yes.
Amarian Hampton.
Do
you think 2?
Why not? Take a shot.
Okay, you're digging a hole. Genty is the only running back with a first-round grade, comp to Alvin Kamara by Matt Miller. Let's do this. Think about this, okay?
I have been.
I know, right? But, we're up against the break, so I'm acting like it's a natural time to step back and give Tom a little time to consider what he's got going on here, and we'll go through and see. And again, I don't think this is far off from what a lot of people are saying, total. Like, there's a lot of talk that maybe half the first round is actual first-round guys. The quarterbacks will push a few guys further down.
Yep.
Imagine if this is really kind of the consensus, and you still see like Jackson Dart going 7 or 9, which is not impossible.
No, I know. I saw one mock that had that.
I mean, I think it's become more fashionable now to give Shedeur Sanders to the Saints at 9.
I saw that.
Starting to see that slide a little bit. But anyway, we'll come back and look through some of these other positions. Also want to hear from James Gladstone, who John Ogier caught up with from Jaguars.com earlier in the week. The Hunt was out last night, starring Tony Smith, which of Jaguars Today.
Way to go, Tone.
He did a great job on that. And so anyway, that's always enjoyable. It is a lot of behind the scenes access to that. I feel like they when they showed the little section on them negotiating and talking to agents, signing free agents, right? And they'd get off and they'd be high-fiving. I feel like Liam Cohen censored himself. He said, shoot! Like he was, but in a happy way. And I'm pretty sure he was just doing that for the cameras, is my guess. I don't know. All right. More Jaguars on the way. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
2 top seeds from the SEC tip off in the Final Four. Florida Auburn, Saturday at 5:30 on 1010XL.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament, presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904 395-5598.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, asking you today, in the scenario where there's no Abdul Carter, no Travis Hunter, and no Mason Graham available for the Jaguars, who do you want to see him take at pick 5 if they cannot move out of there? Donald said, intrigued by Jalen Walker. Everything you hear is he is that dude, but is he a Micah Parsons-style pass rusher or a Roquan Smith-style of off-ball linebacker defensive leader? Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, both.
Let's hope he's both. Yeah. Would you take Roquan Smith top 5? Oh, I misread the question. I don't know that I would, but because he is more just a strictly off-ball linebacker, although Roquan went, 8? Was he 8?
Something in there.
I want to say he was like 8 overall. So sorry, my response, I thought you said, would I take Jalen Walker top 5? So, I would not take Roquan Smith. The reason I think Jalen Walker is different is he is kind of like that hybrid where the feeling would be if you were to take him that high, you play him as a linebacker on first and second down, and you play him as a defensive end on third down. Rush the pass.
Listen, speed kills, right? Add more speed to the defense. You saw what it did for Philly. It's a copycat type league, you know what I mean? Get some speed on those edges and those backers, and good things will happen.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's see if we can dig Tommy out of this hole.
Okay.
Tommy missed it on. He had Cam Ward. But there were no quarterbacks ranked as a first rounder by Matt Miller. Tommy also added Omarion Hampton, already in catch-up mode, Tony. He went after one position. All right, wide receiver. How many wide receivers? And you can ask a question, because you know Travis Hunter's a first rounder. I'll just say that.
Okay.
He's got Travis Hunter.
Are you including him as a receiver?
Well, that's the question. Okay. What do you grade him as? He's got him as a wide receiver.
The way I've heard him talk, I would say wide receivers where he'd list them.
So Travis Hunter, that's a gimme for you, free of charge.
I say 3.
3, okay. Tone?
I was letting y'all know during the break. I have a list of 10 that I'm solid on and trying to figure out what the other 2 would be. I think I'll say one more wide receiver.
Okay, and who is it?
Golden.
Okay, Tommy, you got 2 more wide receivers. Who are they?
I had Tet would be one.
Tet, okay.
And I was Golden's interesting, but I wasn't gonna have. I was thinking of the kid from Ohio State.
Buka.
Emeka Buka, yeah.
I don't know.
All right,
I like taking shots.
It's Luther Burden.
Yeah.
He's the other one. He's got Luther Burden.
Okay.
As the 13th overall player, compares him to Steph Diggs.
Wow.
Compares Travis Hunter, by the way, as a wide receiver to Odell Beckham Jr.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
like that.
All right, moving along here. These are Matt Miller of ESPN's guys with first-round grades. How many tight ends, if any, have a first-round grade?
I'd say 2.
Yeah, 2.
And
Warren and Loveland.
And
Michigan, right? Michigan and Princeton.
Actually, is Colston Loveland ranked 6th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes, and he has Warren ranked 9th overall, and they're both considered first-rounders to him. Compares Loveland to Trey McBride.
Okay.
And compares Tyler Warren to Gronk.
Oh, wow.
And he's the number 2 tight end in the class. I mean, I know Trey McBride had a nice year last year, but your comp is Gronk, and he's the number 2 tight end in the class. Offensive linemen. Let's put it that way, because some of these guys you might consider a guard or a tackle. How many offensive linemen have a first-round grade?
I would go 3.
3?
Well, definitely 2 with Campbell and Membu. Third's either Kelvin Banks or the kid from Ohio State.
Who's Simmons?
Yeah, but he's coming off the ACL, so he's probably not a first rounder. I'd say 3.
All right. And it is Kelvin Banks.
Oh, hey.
So there you go. Tommy Mack.
That's a walk-off.
Redemption
I'll see you later.
song. Redemption song. You know what?
I'm out of here.
My wife sat here last night with me, and for some reason, the word redemption came up, and we just sat there together, a cappella, singing redemption song for the next 5 minutes. It was fantastic. Edge rushers. How many first-round grades on edge rushers?
2. Carter and Walker.
Carter Walker. Tommy.
I'm going to this is a total risk, but I'm going to take that kid out of Marshall, too, and throw him into the mix.
Okay, Mike Green.
Mike Green?
Does not have Mike Green.
Okay.
Carter and Walker.
Right.
Compares Carter to Micah Parsons. Compares Walker to Harold Landry III. That seems like they're not quite in the same neighborhood right now. He's got Abdul Carter as his number 1 player. Walker is his number 5 player overall.
Okay.
How many
compares
defensive
him to
tackles?
Harold Landry?
Harold Landry.
BC, yeah.
Yes. Says Walker's a hybrid defender with the tape to be a first-round prospect at linebacker or edge rusher, but his pass rushing talent is too valuable to categorize him as a linebacker. He was a game changer. 6.5 sacks, played his best football in Georgia's biggest games, had 4 sacks in 2 meetings with Texas, and that's something Matt Miller really harped on with us the other day. Texas has 4 draftable offensive linemen, and Jalen Walker ripped them up. Now, he had 4 sacks against them. That means he only had 2.5 the rest of the year, right? Had 1.5 in the season opening win over Clemson. Okay, so after that game against Clemson, had 5 sacks the rest of the way, and he feasted on Texas. So, I mean, if you're nitpicking, just trying to be fair on both sides. Defensive tackles with a first-round grade.
Just Graham.
Yeah, I think just Graham.
That is exactly right. Compares him to Nnamdi Madubuike.
Okay.
I probably say that differently every time I pronounce it or try to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Are you taking Madubuike 5th overall? I mean, I get it. It's a comp in terms of style of play and body type and all these things. That doesn't necessarily mean that he won't be worth a top 5 pick, but that's who he's got. No linebackers. I think it's pretty obvious that he's got Walker classified there. How many corners are first rounders?
No, Campbell kid didn't.
No, Jahad Campbell? No.
Are there... This is where I'm debating where my last guy would be on this list. Basically, are there any safeties?
Not going to tell you.
I'm going to guess there are no safeties, 2 corners.
Okay, which corners?
Baron Johnson.
Baron Johnson. Tommy?
I was trying to get that kid's name. Yeah, Jahdae Barron would be 1.
Will Johnson.
From Michigan. Yeah.
Let's just end it right here. So those are the last 2. Okay. And that's it. No safeties with a first-round grade. So 13 players. Which is why I said if they do trade back, like I am open to the idea of maybe they don't think these guys are that much better than the guy. Is Mason Graham that much better than Derek Harmon if you could trade back to 15 and get several more draft picks, for instance?
Did he do player comps on the linemen, the offensive linemen?
Yeah, I'm sure he did, but we kind of breezed past them.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks, he rates number 8 overall. By the way, his highest rated offensive lineman, Kelvin Banks. Out of Texas, who apparently Jalen Walker just wipes his feet on, right? Based on what we just said, 4 sacks against Texas.
Matt Miller's a Texas fan, too.
Well, there you go. His Kelvin Banks, he compares to Rashawn Slater of the Chargers. Okay, elite footwork makes up for any lack of length at 6'5" and 315, allowed him to allow pressure on an FBS low 0.8% of the snaps.
Wow.
0.8.
Wow.
That's less than 1 a game.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So, all right, he compares Armand Membu to Jason Peters. Turn the card in.
Yeah, no kidding.
Turn the card in, please.
Goodness gracious.
He said he's an ascended prospect, showed a remarkable improvement throughout his junior year before entering the draft. Elite level mover at 6'4", 332, ran a 4.91. Ideal for zone schemes that ask for movement in the run game. We think they're going to run more of a gap scheme here. Right. Membo has experience at right tackle, but could play guard and potentially even slide to left tackle thanks to his athleticism. He allowed only 1 sack this past year. So, and then Will Campbell, he compares to Deion Dawkins of the Bills.
Okay.
Campbell has likely sparked intense debates in scouting rooms as teams try to decide if the 3-year starter at left tackle will remain there. He's 6'6", 319 pounds. Called him a technician with great agility and balance, but his shorter arms Here we go. Measured in less than 33 inches at the combine. And, there's the whole thing about the combine arm length. The measurements were off.
Did you see how it was 3/8 of an inch?
Yes. From being 33 inches, which is like the threshold. And then I think
about how small,
I know.
It's like tiny.
It's tiny.
Like, why does it even matter?
He says his shorter arms and upright stance that lacks base power could force a move to guard. Whether he's in the inside or outside, I confidently give Campbell a round 1 grade. So,
okay.
I don't even know who, who the Patriots would take. Would they take Campbell? That seems to be, or would they take Membo? I don't know. If they were to go offensive line. Now, who would the Jags take?
To me, Membo's just got more upside because of his athletic ability. And not just the 4.91. I was seeing, look, it's grades for other things, but his athletic grade was like in the 90s, which means not just speed, but agility, change of direction.
Yeah, the relative athletic score.
Yeah.
Well, looking it up,
impressive.
the Patriots are expected to run a zone scheme up front, so that may be the Mimbu thing.
That could.
Yeah.
I mean, they need a left tackle. They need a lot, but if Drake May's your guy, you better protect him. That's for sure.
I wonder if the Jags, we just don't know what their board looks like, right? So it's possible that they've got one of these offensive linemen ahead of Mason Graham, right?
Maybe.
For their own personal board.
Sure.
I wonder if there's, in their mind, how much separate, whoever their favorite offensive lineman is, how much separation between that guy and number 2.
Right.
Right? Because, the Patriots could take number 1 and
you
end up potentially with Graham or one of these other guys.
Look, could you, at that 36 pick, could there be, a tackle or maybe a guard there that can help you? Will Josh Simmons be there?
He's an interesting one, and I saw a story with him. He, of course, Ohio State guard. I think he allowed 1 pressure last year in the 6 games he played. Is what I read. 1 pressure. I mean, that's absurd, right? 1 pressure.
No, I know.
Not even a quarterback hit necessarily or a sack. Yeah. So
the knee injury obviously hurt his status a lot.
There was a story on 5, it might have been CBS Sports, 5 best fits or 5 really good fits for a particular player, and they said Simmons and Kansas City, late first round, and you're getting a guy that if he was healthy might be a top 10 point, be the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Right.
And they need offensive line help, you know, and there's less of a risk there.
I've seen Kenneth Grant drop a little bit in that second round. Maybe he could be there.
He could be. But then again, I see Mox Tone. I think I just saw one where he went 15.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
That's
I know, it's all over the place.
I think with the tackles beyond Graham and the wide receivers, I think at some point in the first round, one or the other of those positions, maybe even both, has a run. Mm-hmm. Right? There is the real chance that one or the other of that's going to happen. One or the other is going to happen. Both could, right, in the first round. I think the 13 first-round grades points to it again because these are positions that every team in the league is going to prioritize, wide receiver and up-front beef, right? There just aren't big guys that are available. So if there's a bunch of guys that are kind of in the same kind of ranking, at some point there in the first round, someone's going to pull the trigger on one of those and everyone's going to go, well, we got to do it now.
Right.
Right? I don't think that's going to happen with running back. I think the chance of that happening is very low, but I think at those 2 spots, that kind of thing happening in this year's first round is a very high probability.
Yeah, I could see. I saw, it might have been Field Yates who's they're talking about guys that impressed at the pro days and things like that. And I was reading a bunch of things this morning, but Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, and he had him projected 11th overall.
Wow.
He just, when you saw him in his positional drills at his pro day.
Yeah, there's a lot more talk about him being the number 2 guy on that list.
Among defensive tackles.
It'd be Graham than Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, and I think, too, the edge rushers. It does seem like there's a decent edge rush class for depth.
Right.
We often talk about Kyle Kennard because he is projected to go around pick 70 where the Jags are going to be picking. Yep. And there are a lot of guys, I think, in that range that fit third pass rusher very well.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle against the run. So if you've got a complete one or a guy you think is going to be a complete one, I think you're going to probably see a bunch of those guys come off the board in the first round as well.
The kid from BC is a great pass rusher.
Well, and Donovan
Ezeraku. Yeah. He's a little undersized, but, man, he's a natural pass rusher for sure.
There's a bunch of traits guys. You know, after it's
Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart, like James Pierce, the Tennessee, Mike Green, who you mentioned. Like there are guys that
Green
are trades.
was productive too, wasn't he? Wasn't he crazy productive?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of guys that are in that kind of Stewart's crazy that he's being talked about, but that is all traits.
1.5 sacks each of 3 years he's played.
Like right now, I wouldn't want to touch him.
Right.
You know, if I was drafted in the first round, but someone's going to.
Yeah.
You would think. Trent Baalke would be all over that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's what we'd be sitting here going, that's the guy
there was
you gotta worry
an
about.
unnamed, I don't know if it's true, but unnamed executive saying they would never touch that kid, the Stewart kid out of Texas.
He's the one that you have such a body of accomplishment to go on.
Right.
Anyway, Jordan Reed at ESPN, they do on Friday, they do their NFL Draft Buzz column, which is a good read if you're into the draft at all. And Ezeraku, I'm going to go however you
That's
say
it. Ezeraku, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Said that after speaking with multiple scouts this week, he is a player that teams are hot after.
Yeah.
And he calls it a loaded edge rusher group. In fact, I saw it might have been Greg Rosenthal, who we had on from NFL.com a few weeks ago, ranked that the deepest position in the entire draft, edge rusher.
Okay.
So, if the Jags want to get, and we don't need a starter necessarily. Right. So that's the thing with Jalen Walker. It's the thing with all these guys, though.
Right.
If I take Mason Graham and I've got a bunch of interesting defensive tackles sitting there at 36, did I make the wrong move?
Right.
You know what I mean? What's less likely to be available for me later? But it says Ezeraku could now be picked as high as number 15 to the Falcons or 18 to the Seahawks.
Yeah, he had like 16.5 sacks last year, man. He was wreaking havoc.
Yeah, I like guys that come in with the production more than the team.
Yeah.
Like I get the whole
sacks,
we're
not
gonna turn him
pressures.
into
Because pressures.
I mean, pressures are good.
But Abdullah led the ACC in pressures. Remember, that was his whole thing when he came out, and that hasn't amounted to much.
No, it hasn't. All right, let's take a break here. We'll take a trip around the league, find out what's happening with the other 31 NFL teams when we return, and then hear from James Gladstone, Jaguars general manager, as he sat down with John Oehser earlier this week from Jaguars.com. That's coming your way right here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Throughout history, significant numbers have made their mark on our minds. That includes sports and radio.
And this one's going to be 1010.
1010 XL.
Call the deck guys if you want a brand new deck pavers or more. Call 904-813-2474.
TheDeckGuysJacks.com.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. The coolest cats in town.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Better known.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
What are the only two states that do not observe daylight saving time? The answer next.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The only two states that currently do not observe daylight saving time are Arizona and Hawaii.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here, and it's time to make those summer break plans. Clay County is calling. From paddleboarding on Doctor's Lake to reeling in the big one on Black Creek, or cruising the St. Johns River. There's no better place to dive into warm weather fun. Enjoy live music, local festivals, food trucks, and fireworks lighting up the night. Discover scenic parks, hidden trails, and must-visit local gyms. Your summer adventures start here. Visit exploreclay.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Your Jacksonville Sharks are back and ready to take the field for the 15th anniversary season. The Drive for Five starts Sunday, April 6th as your Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks. Ask about special ticket pricing for all youth sports teams at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks! Prosser here. Sharks football is back. Come celebrate the 15th anniversary season this Sunday, April 6th, as the Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks in their home opener at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Already 1-0, the Sharks look to crush Vegas on Pirates and Princesses Night. Have some family fun and break out your best pirate hat or tiara.
We're not but humble pirates.
For tickets and special pricing for youth sports teams, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's jacksharks.com or 621-0700.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update. The Florida Gators head coach Todd Golden and Auburn Tigers head coach Bruce Pearl share a deeply rooted relationship, adding to the intensity of their Final Four matchup tomorrow in San Antonio. Todd Golden's coaching journey has been significantly influenced by Pearl, who he served to as an assistant coach at Auburn from 2014 to 2016. Todd Golden met with the media ahead of the matchup, discussing the two's relationship.
We're incredibly close. Have been for a long time now, almost 15 years. You know, it's a little surreal to be able to be here at the Final Four. That in itself is a little surreal, but on Saturday against one of your biggest and best mentors, you know, not exactly something you expect, you know, when the season starts. You know, I know he's incredibly proud of me. I'm incredibly grateful for him not be here. You know, if I didn't have my relationship and experience, you know, working with and being around Bruce in a sense, it's a little bit of a full circle moment. When the ball goes up on Saturday, it's going to be pretty cutthroat.
It's 83 degrees at 10:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service on 1010XL.
I believe this is in regard to me saying I would not take Roquan Smith with the 5th pick. He did go 8th overall, and somebody said, you're crazy. Best linebacker in the league. I just don't think the positional impact is there. He may be the best at what he does, but inside linebackers who don't rush the quarterback that much, to me, are not as valuable as game-changing. You know what I mean? Like, He's a very good player.
No, I know what you're saying. It's like a good guard.
It's like Foye Aluakin, right?
Yeah.
Make a ton of tackles.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not even saying that Roquan's not better, right?
Right.
But I just don't know if the impact is there.
If you're not impacting the game like on all three phases on defense, like run, pass, and affecting the QB, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you're a grunt player, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're good against the run, you can cover really well. Maybe you do both, but if you're going to be able to be one of the tops, you got to affect the QB as well. You know what I mean?
If you're going to go top 5. Now, granted, he went 8. There's not a whole lot of difference between 8 and 5, and this is supposed to be a weak draft class. So I get it. And Roquan's not in this draft, by the way, so we don't have to worry about that.
When did Kuechly go 9? I think he went 9th
something
overall.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, no, that guy was a difference maker.
I mean, these are Kuechly, already a Hall of Fame finalist, was he, Tone? I think a finalist,
last
right?
year.
I mean, I don't know if Roquan will get there as quickly as he does, but that's the level player you're talking about there.
Well, he had pick sixes and all kinds of stuff, that guy. Sacks, pick sixes. He was a pretty active player.
All right. Anyway, so we'll agree to disagree on that one. I
agree. I mean, I don't know. You need a good middle linebacker. There's no doubt about it, but you don't need the best middle linebacker to have a really good defense.
It's like if you had a box safety. Not gonna, if you had a safety that you thought was a ball hawk.
Yeah. The interest in Jalen Walker specifically is that he adds some kind of dimension as an edge.
Yeah.
Right, for the team. That's where the opportunity for him to be a difference maker is. It's not being asked to do what Roquan has been asked to do.
That's right.
In his career. Like he is, he's been a first-team All-Pro the last couple of years as a middle linebacker in the league. Now, we've had the discussions about him versus Foye and where they were as players, specifically the last couple of years, and I think they're close.
What was Foye at 2? Yeah. Was he a second rounder when he got drafted?
Second or third?
I don't remember.
My internet's running so slow right now.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, look, there are positions that have more impact.
Yeah.
And Walker as a linebacker, he'll be drafted as a linebacker or whatever it's going to be, and he'll be playing weak side, strong side linebacker, whatever, when they have him on the field doing it. But the idea of him is when you're looking for the third edge to come into the group, he would be that guy.
Yeah.
Like he would be the third edge and a stand-up linebacker for you. It's the different things that you can ask them to do. It's that kind of thing. I think you have to have that kind of value from a linebacker for it to be something that you consider.
Right.
This high in the draft. They have to have an impact on the opponent's pass game.
Right.
They have to affect the opposing quarterback. If they don't, no one's going to be thinking about that.
He would come and be at the will right away, and then on passing downs, you put him up top, put him on the line and see what he can do.
That's the argument for him to be the 5th pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Foye was a 6th round pick.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, don't text me. I just looked it up as well. 6th round pick, 200th overall.
Yeah.
Tom Brady went right before him. No, he didn't. Not the same draft, but
Foye, he's got a great nose for the ball.
6th round pick.
Yeah. He's underappreciated. I mean, he's a really good linebacker.
I agree, but even if you knew you were going to Foye were going to turn into Foye and lead the league in tackles a bunch of years, you're not taking him 5th overall.
No,
I'm not. And again, I'm not even saying. I think we spent enough time. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it. I'm just dragging the conversation on.
Yeah.
But look, I'm willing to give the Jags brain trust the benefit of the doubt on most decisions they make. Yeah. Right? If they go the Maurice Jones-Drew route and take Ted McMillan over Travis Hunter, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, it may turn out that they're right on that, but initially, I'm going to have to see it before I believe that one. The rest of them, for the most part, I mean, you wanted a new brain trust. We got a new brain trust. Part of that word is trust, right? So let's do that. All right, let's take a look around the rest of the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Quarterback Geno Smith and the Las Vegas Raiders have agreed to a 2-year contract extension with $65.5 million guaranteed, worth up to $85.5 million. That will keep him under contract now with Las Vegas through the 2027 season. Arizona and tight end Trey McBride have agreed to a 4-year, $76 million extension with $43 million guaranteed. And Kansas City is bringing back safety Mike Edwards on a 1-year deal. Edwards was with the Chiefs for their Super Bowl 53 victory. He split last season between Buffalo and Tampa Bay.
All right. Thank you, Tone. Somebody asking how you feel about us grabbing Kenneth Grant if we traded back, like as a first-round selection. As we said, I see him projected now pushing up on 15.
Yep.
Also see him projected out of the first round.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So nobody really knows. I would not. I mean, it depends what compensation I'm getting back in the deal, how many more picks or premium picks I'm getting. But as I responded here, I mean, Tyreek Williams, Alfred Collins, Deion Walker. There are a lot of guys that can plug up the running lanes at defensive tackle.
I think for me it would be where you pick him and who around him was picked too. You know what I mean? Like who'd you pass on before? But I've said it almost ad nauseum. I think we need that kind of a defensive tackle, a number one nose guard, one technique, plug it up the middle, take it on double teams, and let my linebackers roll.
Do you think, other than Shedeur Sanders, if he's sitting there, is there a player you think? And presuming Hunter and Carter are not there, right? Which the Jags probably just would take one, right? Yep. Is there a player that's going to entice anyone to jump up? Maybe their choice of the offensive lineman?
I could see maybe the Jets wanting one of the O-linemen, depending, what happens with New England.
I mean, that to me, the Jets and the Saints are the teams to watch. Saints to possibly get up there and get Sanders,
right,
if they want to. Now, I don't know if this factors in or not. You see, they just gave Geno Smith a 2-year extension. He had 1 year on his deal, but that was kind of expected going in. But still, $66 million guaranteed over 26 and 27. Are you going to draft a quarterback? I mean, we said that with Kirk Cousins, though, too.
That's right.
And could the Raiders have just said, all right, we got Geno this year. Let's wait and see how the draft falls and then try to extend him afterwards. Maybe that gives them more leverage.
But listen, it's a copycat league. You got to think around the league. Teams are going, all right, we can't do what Atlanta did with Kirk. You know what I mean? We can't give that guy $180 million guaranteed. He's not even our guy. Like, he's on the team, but he's not, you know what I mean? He's not starting for us. I think we'll learn from that one. You know what I mean?
He was the starter.
No, I know, but eventually
didn't play well. Didn't play well enough.
No, and you had the first-round pick. I get it. And he's exciting. A little different of a player. But it looks like they're going Penix.
They're 100% going Penix.
I mean, that's just throwing away. I'm telling you, they're laundering money. They're just throwing it away.
It's throwaway money, but it's cash.
$180 million,
it's not draft capital.
Right.
And, I mean, you can argue if they didn't make that move last year, now you'd be sitting with a broke-down Kirk Cousins, a year older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time, it didn't seem like a good use of resources, but if Penix turns out to be the guy for them, then it'll be a momentary blip and they'll clear up the cap space issues and move on. Yeah. All right, let's hear a couple of thoughts from James Gladstone. Sat down with John Oehser from Jaguars.com earlier this week and just gave his impressions of his first month on the job as the GM.
Yeah, I think a couple things jump out, right? The offseason got off to a fast start, and really our fan base, their support has really been something that's inspired our group. At the same time, I think the energy around what the future holds has really been something that's been captivating. And, in addition to that, the alignment across the organization from ownership to operations to coaching and scouting, there's a shared vision for what lies on the horizon. And in addition to that, the clarity that comes with what it is that we're hunting up. And I think that only points to a healthier dose and efficiency and effectiveness of the decisions that lie ahead, especially as we start looking towards the draft.
It was interesting watching the hunt, the video the Jags digital team put out yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's great.
As much as anything for me, just to see all the coaches sitting around in some of these environments, sometimes with Gladstone, sometimes not, obviously always with Liam Cohen, and just some of the conversations they had of how, they're trying to implement their overall philosophy of what they want this team to be.
Well, look, it trickles down to the scouts, right, all the way through. And one thing I loved what I heard from Liam from the owners' meetings, him saying, look, we're looking for guys that love ball. They got to love football. And I don't think they had that the past couple of years. I think they had some guys that loved ball, but I don't think they had enough guys that really cared about the game of football and their position in it. So I could see them saying, this is the kind of player we want. And it goes from Baselli and the GM, Gladstone, through the coach, through the staff, through, the scouting department. These are the guys we want. So, for instance, what do you hear about the O-line that they brought in? They all finish blocks, right? They're aggressive. They finish blocks. Well, you can see by the guys that they're bringing in, and that's one of the connecting things is that aggressiveness and finished blocks, that's going to be the message. We want O-linemen that finish blocks. They're going to be up in front of that O-line and say, guys, I don't care what you did before, but we want you to finish blocks if you're going to be a member of our starting offensive line, because that's what we do. We are going to have guys that love football and finish blocks. So now you go down to your scouts. Well, what are they looking at? They walk into a program. They're like, yeah, I want to see so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, why them? Because I could tell they love football or whatever, and they're finishing blocks, and that's what we're looking for.
Tommy, I think, that kind of take on the things that you want to stress, right? I think those are common across everywhere, right? Like finish, those kind of things. Why do you think, what is the culture that in some spots that kind of lesson actually gets absorbed by the room, and in some spots it just doesn't seem to? Like, what gets missed?
I think it's
because it's being taught.
I think it's the loving the ball part, like really, really care. What are you? I'm a football player. What do you do for a living? I'm a professional football player. What do you do during the week in your off time? I work on being a professional football player. What does that mean? I do everything I can to make me bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, more flexible, everything, quicker, better head game, whatever I'm doing. I gotta be better at everything I do. That means you love football, and you love you love it so much that you really care about your performance that much that it's just going to help the team win. So I think that's the differential. You know what I mean? Because look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The mistakes that continuously were made last year, all throughout the year, from week 1 down to week 14, 15, same guys, same thing, same type of thing happening over and over and over again. To me, that means those players didn't care enough to fix those mistakes, or you would have fixed them.
Question here, I think it's a good one. Based on the current roster, this is on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Based on who's on the Jags right now, who's your top 5 that you feel love football the most on this roster?
Oh, good one. That's a great question.
I'm going to put Dewey at the top.
He does love ball. I think he talks a little too much, but he does.
I think he's just I agree. He loves it.
He does.
It's like his identity, and he gets the most out of what he has to work with.
You want to go next? Go ahead. We'll do a round of table. How about that? I didn't mean to tell how you run your show.
It's not mine. Let's go with that. Can I speak now? Okay.
Yeah, I would say Josh Hines Allen loves it.
Okay. Hines Allen. Who you got? McManus in row 2.
I'm going to say Brian Thomas Jr. for sure loves football.
Okay.
You could tell.
Okay. I think so. I want to be. I think Foye does, but I might.
Right, it is such an intangible thing.
It's tough to know, right? Like it's almost an indictment if you don't put somebody right at the top of the list. I'll say Foye.
I bet you he cares about ball.
I think so. Let's go 2 more names.
I think a guy that they brought in free agency, Jordan Lewis. The way he's being talked about,
He's
like
got
his attitude on the field. Yeah.
Yep.
Tom.
I think Trayvon does. I think he cares. I think he
was the one. It was Foye or Trayvon. I was kind of gonna go with here. Is it an issue that we haven't said Trevor Lawrence?
I was just gonna say we're 5-6 in. The QB's name has.
No, he would have been the next name I would have talked about.
I think he does.
I think Trevor loves it, and he pushes himself to do these. I think Jarian Jones kind of fits that bill of the Jordan Lewis thing too. Everything I've seen with him on the field, there's an attitude to him on the field.
He's got swag for sure.
Right, like that kind of thing shows up a little bit. So I don't think there's this long list of guys that are that kind of guy, but I do think they have. I think there are guys in key places where if you're looking for who's going to pull them in that direction, I think the really good players on the team generally have that to them. I think it was a roster. That's why they're talking about we got to figure out what's going on in the bottom part of this roster.
Raise the floor, right?
That's where that has to live.
Yep.
We're like, how are you on an NFL roster? Like, how are you living on an NFL roster if, like you said, Tommy, everything you do is football?
Yep.
Like, what else are you doing? Yep. What else could you possibly be prioritizing but football if you're somebody that doesn't know if they're going to have that available to them tomorrow? The great ones are the ones that do everything knowing it's going to be there tomorrow, but like it might not be.
Right.
Right? Like, those are the guys that you have to fill the room with.
Listen, I've said this story many times, and I love it because it's so vivid in my head that I can hear Baselli's hands hitting the boxing pads, to practice in his punches after practice. He would take off his pads and his helmet, leave his pants on with pads and his shoes. He even put in gym shoes, just wearing his cleats. And that Jerry Palmieri, our strength coach, would grab the pads for boxers and just kind of walk towards Tony in a way that an end would come at him, and Tony sat there, smack, 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 smack. They'd go back to the line, and he'd do it a dozen times. He'd take a rest, and they'd do it again. And this is after a full padded 2.5 with conditioning. And by the way, he wasn't the only one. Guys running sprints on the treadmill to fix make their time better, doing a little extra lifting, whatever it was.
And it could, for all we know, there's a lot of this going on. We don't see all that.
I just know to the way the mistakes were made last year. If you really gave to, you don't make those over and over.
It was my big takeaway from watching.
That's right.
The YouTube thing yesterday with the Jaguars was the intensity of Tony Baselli.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could see the player coming out in him. Like the Hall of Fame player now being put in this position where now I got to get this out of everybody else. I can do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like he has that kind of attitude to it. He carries himself that way.
He is definitely, Tony, embedded in a lot of the stuff they're doing behind the scenes.
Tony loved football. Still does. But when he was a player, he absolutely loved football.
Let's see. Bush Drive Rich said, my top 5 who I think love football for this team: Dewey, Foye, Logan Cook, Trevor Lawrence, and Jarian Jones.
I'd throw Ross Madisick in there, man, because he hauls ass after snapping the ball and tries to make every tackle. I think he loves football.
I think I got to believe.
Back all pros.
That the guys that, it's easy to love football when you're a star, right? You're getting all the accolades. I think it's tougher when you're a special teamer, bench guy.
But look at Daniel Thomas. You know that kid.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's tougher to be that guy. But if you are that guy and you make a career out of that, you better love ball, or else, obviously you love the paycheck that comes with it too, but you're doing the unrecognized grunt work a lot of the time when you're those kind of guys.
Absolutely.
So,
when no one's watching half the time.
It's a good question, though. Thanks for whoever sent that in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. More from James Gladstone coming up in a moment. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Get loose in the corner and tight on the straightaway.
He got loose.
Way loose. This Sunday at Darlington.
This is going to be tight right here.
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails, all in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious? Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us 641-1010.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all, from mowing, edging, fertilizer to irrigation and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, Matt, formerly from Callahan, wanted us to know. He's the one who sent that question. Assign it next time. I don't want to give you credit for it. It's a good question. Thank you very much.
It was.
Appreciate that. On Jaguars who love the game. Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, they would love for Trevor Lawrence to get peak performance out of himself this year. Liam Cohen, there's a little write-up at PFT, went on SiriusXM this week. Of course, talked about wanting to help improve Trevor's footwork a little bit. Not going to mess with the throwing motion. But he said for us, there's a quote from his appearance on NFL radio, quote, for us to help him truly, also from a schematic standpoint, we've got to be able to run the football a little better. This is Liam Cohen talking. Give him some help from that standpoint. Take a little pressure off. Also playing some good, sound, fundamental, hard defense on the other side of the ball to be able to ultimately get the best out of a quarterback. We've got to be able to help. Now, true statement, right? I don't want to read too much into that. Well, does that mean they could draft Ashton Genty? Well, in the same breath, he's saying we need a stronger defense as well. Offensive line would help that running game, would help Trevor. Oh, so all these things help Trevor Lawrence to some degree. Another pass catcher would help Trevor as well. But it does seem more so than the pass catcher, the flashy object, unless maybe it's Hunter, because I do think he's in his own category. Yeah. Which, by the way, Travis Hunter, Colorado Pro Day today, Jason sent this along. James Palmer reported, we'll see if something changes before the start of today's showcase in Boulder. That's what they're calling it, the Players' Showcase. Not a pro day.
Right.
Can't be like everyone else, Dion. But Travis Hunter is not expected to work out today. I guess probably tumbling down the board now.
Yeah.
Or what? I mean, how important are they? For a guy like that, what? There's the tape, man. I won the Heisman. I played both ways.
For
what
a
do you
guy
want me
like
to do?
that, I agree with. I think maybe the bigger guys I'd want to see at least move again. You know what I mean?
But then they'll spend all that time saying, "Oh, it's all the film. It's 99% the film."
Yeah.
Right. And then somebody runs a slow 40, and then they go, "Oh, we got to go back to the film."
Right.
And did we not do a good enough job on the film?
Listen, the film does matter. There's no doubt. But and this is where the tough part is. Does the game transition from college to pro? You may be dominant in college because you're just stronger than everybody else. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Tyler Shuck, right?
Yeah.
The quarterback.
Uh-huh.
You know how old he is? Older than Trevor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The kid from Louisville?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were freshmen at the same time.
Wow.
And he went to school for 89 years, and Trevor didn't. And so he is older than Trevor Lawrence when he comes to the league. If you're a 25-year-old quarterback, it's like Chris Wenke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
All that was great. Yep. Didn't do a damn thing in the pros.
I think you have to figure out how to weight different things.
Yeah.
Right? When you're watching guys that you're trying to evaluate on tape and they're playing high-level competition, say they're playing in the SEC, wherever they're playing, and you're watching them play in a game and you're like, wow, look at the things he's doing on the field. And then you get a measurement that's a little bit off of what you would expect. Right. Who cares? Right? Like, I saw him play. That has to weigh more.
Yeah.
Like, it's I'm with you, Demps. I get frustrated with we have to go reevaluate it because this measurement made us change our opinion on the player.
This is our opinion, and then we say the 40 doesn't matter that much, and as soon as he runs a good or bad one, we're going to adjust.
Why does the tape change why does the actual measurement change the evaluation of the players as much as it seems to?
Right.
Sometimes. You saw the tape, I assume. Were you not paying attention when you were going through the tape on the player? It does seem like those two things they've never quite been married in my mind, how they get together.
Okay, so let me, and I don't know if this is a good example, but let me use myself as an example.
Sure.
Okay. My junior year, really productive year. 165 tackles. Mm-hmm. I had 11.5 tackles for loss, 3.5. I had a really, really good year. 7th in the nation in tackles. If I would have ran a 4.5 or 6, I would have come out. Maybe even a 4.7. But I didn't. I ran a 5 flat. Next year, so I averaged 15 tackles a game, legit, 15 tackles a game. And we played all the big Penn State, Miami, played all the big schools. Next year, same deal. Ended up with 159 tackles. I didn't play as much because we were off to a good start. We were a good team. Mm-hmm. And I was very, very productive. So you knew I could play college football. But why wasn't I drafted? Because I ran a 5 flat. And they're thinking, okay, the tape shows that he can play, but is he going to be fast enough in our league? Because I know what he's doing against them, and it looks great. But does it transition to and the initial answer was no, because they didn't draft me.
Right.
They were like, no, he can't. We don't think he's fast enough to play in the NFL.
Do you think any of that changes with the new GPS things, where they're literally
in-game stuff? Yeah,
where they can actually measure, okay, he may run a 4 whatever,
right?
But this dude, is going 21 miles an hour at peak speed or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That would help a lot. I never did that, but I'm just saying that.
But because then you could kind of gauge, well, how fast is the guy he's running down, and different things like that.
Yeah.
Well, and look, 1/10 of a second, you can't tell the difference, probably. You know what I mean? If a guy run a 4.7, a guy run a 4.8. 4.70, 4.78.
Yeah, 4.7 and a 4.8, sure.
Right. Even a 4.3 and a 4.4.
4.3 to a 4.6, I bet
that's a difference.
Right?
Well, 4.7 to a 5 flat's a big difference.
Yeah, sure, right.
But I'm just saying a 10th, because look, 4.35, 4.4.
Well, and the 10th, all this stuff at the combine, these guys train like they're track stars, right? You're never going to get in that stance and just sprint out of the blocks.
Line.
Exactly. And whereas maybe the guy who ran the 4.65 took a half a false step in his little 4, and that's all it takes. A tenth of a second.
That's all it takes.
Not even a blink of an eye.
Or you get off that straight line just a little bit. You just, for whatever reason, you fought off that straight line that you're supposed to be running in.
Right.
It'll knock off a half a tenth.
Right. I guess you train poorly. These guys do. I mean, they're in the starting blocks, and like, what are we doing here?
Right.
It's, I get it. There's got to be some objective way to compare Tony to Tom to Mike to Dylan, whatever.
Well, that's why they miss a lot. Because guys don't,
amen to that, bro.
They can play. At the end of the day, they can play the game.
Too much with one or the other.
We've already spent got to be 3 full months talking about the crapshoot that is the NFL draft. Yeah. I mean, we're breaking it down like we can tell, does it mean a half extra win for the Jags if they go Mason Graham as opposed to Ashton Genty or whatever the case may be?
I mean, I appreciate it, Tommy. You helped me marry the ideas in my mind a little bit more. Like, I understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. And for the record, I got it too. I knew why I wasn't drafted.
Right.
I knew exactly why I wasn't drafted because of my speed. But then you figure it out.
But you were able to play in the NFL.
You can either play, and here's the thing, and whether you do test out well or don't, whatever, they get you in, you don't know till they get you in. They don't know until they get you into the building, into the weight room, into the locker room, out onto the field, against your teammates, against your peers. How do you stack up?
All right, we'll come back. Still get a little bit from James Gladstone coming up. We'll get to today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. In a scenario where Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and Mason Graham are all off the board, what you prefer the Jags to do with the 5th pick. We'll look into that as we close up shop for the week on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
Let's talk about me.
Mornings.
Listen, I really think you have a chance here. I mean, the best thing you have going for you is your willingness to humiliate yourself.
On 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know Before You Blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Warm weather means the beach, fishing, golf, and more. Make sure to drop into Daly's and grab a cold case to go. From Bud Light to their seltzer, from Mick Ultra to Modelo, or your favorite crafts like Bold City or Sweetwater. Grab and go at your local Daly's.
Your chance to play in the Masters is coming.
Let the big dog eat.
Okay. With 1010XL's You Pick 'em contest.
Win $1,000 of jewelry from Beards Diamonds. Teed up by Pella Windows and Doors. Go to 1010XL.com now.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166178. Subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, few thoughts here from James Gladstone with John Ogier earlier in the week from Jaguars.com, Jaguars' new general manager. We hear the phrase intangibly rich. I would imagine some of that is you love football.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a big part of that.
That is, absolutely.
Eat, sleep, and drink it.
Yep.
Not just other, it's an on and off the field thing, but let's let James Gladstone speak for himself. What is your definition of this phrase we hear all the time, intangibly rich?
Yeah, I think it's great to be intangibly curious, as our fan base might be labeled at this point. But intangibly rich, I think we can all get to a place that even in our own minds means somewhat of the same thing. When we're looking at on-field intangibles, it's things like competitiveness, toughness, and even instincts and nuances of each skill that is offered up at each position. Off the field, you're looking about, how much passion does somebody have for the game itself, as well as what are they like as a teammate and a person off the field. And so those are things that we gauge and really lean into as a part of our decision-making process. It's really where we start at each point of player acquisition. But, we got to remain agile at the same time and be open to, a number of options. But at the end of the day, yes, it's rooted in intangibles, and that's something that we'll keep as our North Star as we round out this first offseason.
Yeah, intangibly curious sounds more like a phase you go through in college. just saying.
Or even as a teenager.
Or whatever. That's it. You do you
I'm
in
going
the
back even
year
further.
2025. But, look, it does come back to you want a bunch of guys who are self-motivated, self-starters, right, that are always looking at, obviously.
They're prioritizing it.
You're always going to prioritize your own career. You should.
Right.
But that is willing to sacrifice for the team, willing to go the extra mile, willing to do all those things. Guys, you're not going to have to worry about guys that do have their head in the playbook, and they're not going to make – I think that's a big part of intangibles to me. It's just the mental mistakes.
Well, look, I think what plays into it, too, is today, you don't spend as much time at the facility. So you do got a lot of time by yourself to study, to go work out, to do whatever. And look, I was there too. We all think we're invincible at a young age. No, I can go out and be fine. I was. I mean, you could do anything at that age. But the reality is, if you want to play a very long time, you need to not do as much of that and study and take care of your body and just make sure you're ready to play the game. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what's really important.
All right, last thought for today from James Gladstone. What does he think overall about this year's draft? And does he feel like the Jags are ready for it?
There's still a lot of work to be done. We're just about a month away from draft day decisions, and we've had the chance to meet with our coaching staff to discuss the initial wave of prospects, and they're working through the next batch. And I think we'll see a lot of clarity here with the next chance that we have to sit down with them and really shape the top 100 of the draft class, and then we'll see how day 3 ends up unfolding in real time, knowing that there's a lot of unpredictability to that stage of the draft for sure.
With all the access and that attitude of we want more transparency around these parts, I really look forward to. I hope we get some of these behind the scenes from the war room stuff, not in real time because self-defeating.
Give it away. Right.
But to see, is there much of a debate, or maybe just allow the cameras in to those closed door sessions when they're debating the players then and stacking their board. That to me is fascinating.
Yeah.
Just
like how they stack the board.
How it all comes together and now some of it too. You don't want all your opinions on players out there, right? It could come back to get you in a variety of ways. You may end up wanting to trade for that player later on, or whatever. You say something about a guy, maybe he remembers that.
No, right.
Players are funny, right?
Yep.
But in terms of access and what we want, I want to see that stuff. Not to the Jags' detriment, obviously.
Right. I get it.
But absolutely.
Well, you've seen a little bit of it with the hunt, right? They're showing a little bit of that inside stuff.
A little bit, right? But I haven't seen like any of the board stacking kind of stuff. And I don't know that we won't or we will, but James Gladstone did sit down with John Oehser. This was a few days ago. So, hey, check your calendar there, James. 20 days.
Come on.
20 days until the NFL draft kicks off.
Fantastic.
I love it, man.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be phenomenal. All right, let's take a look at today, or at least we hope it'll be phenomenal. I say that.
It'll happen.
It will, and it will be phenomenal for some teams. Hopefully, Jacksonville will be one of them. All right, here we go. Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day is, if the first 4 players taken in whatever order are Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and Mason Graham. In other words, 1 quarterback and the 3 position players that most people have at the top of the board. And the Jaguars could not trade down. Maybe they try, but no one's coming up. Which of these players / positions would you most want them to take with the 5th pick? Would you like running back Ashton Genty? Would you like edge rusher, linebacker Jalen Walker? Would you like the best O-lineman available, whether that's Membo, Campbell? Leave that up to Gladstone to decide. Would you like the best pass-catching weapon meaning a Tet McMillan or a Tyler Warner, maybe a Colston Loveland. Who knows? Dylan, why don't we fire up today's 10-10 take and debate it?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
But I feel like the offensive line can be upgraded. That's an easy thing to say because I think a lot of positions on this team could be upgraded with a guy that you could take at pick 5. Tet McMillan's the pick at 5. You presume he's going to be opening day starter opposite Brian Thomas, right?
Yep.
If you get Tyler Warren there, he's your top tight end on the depth chart. If you take a tackle there, you're not taking him to sit behind Walker Little and Anton Harrison.
Right.
Something's got to change. So it's tough for me to say this, but I'll say it anyway because when we did our top 5 wish list earlier this week, Tony, and we included a lot of trade down and trade up scenarios. But the first pure thing I got to, I think was the 4th thing on my list, was best offensive lineman. I can't tell you who that is. Whether it's Membo, whether it's Campbell, maybe it's Calvin Banks. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows? Matt Miller thinks it is. Because I think that, defensive tackle is crazy deep this year. Just crazy deep with doing enough of these mocks that you think even if they're way off, at least pick 36, you're going to get a guy that can step in and improve that group. Maybe you could do that on the offensive line, but I think as you get beyond the first round, it's more likely you're going to get interior help. Now, maybe they're comfortable with the tackles they have because they do have 2 incumbents and they signed 2 more guys who can play the role of a swing tackle. But for me, out of all these options here, I'd put O-line and I'd probably put Genty next for me personally, even ahead of Jalen Walker. And I feel like if I'm going to take Jalen Walker, I want to get paid off for somebody hopping up to pay me off to come up and get the top offensive lineman on their board or whatever the case may be. That's me. Wide receiver, tight end would be a distant 4th for me in this group. Tone, what do you think?
If it was me making the decision, I would probably go Jalen Walker.
Okay.
But I'm a little edge crazy when it comes to picking in the top 5 of the draft, so that holds a lot of weight for me. I think looking at the whole conversation here about even Mason Graham, if he's available at 5, being talked about as kind of the double, right? Like safe, that kind of thing. I think if you're looking at that with the other 2 options even we have in the poll this morning, the offensive line's the double, right? Like if Graham isn't there, the offensive line is we know this raises something that we know needs to be raised. Genty would do the same thing, but I think what they've talked about is we have to address the offensive line to set the table for everything else. I think I'm leaning in my mind right now towards offensive line being the pick at 5 regardless. Like, that's where I think it's kind of leaning in my mind at this point in the process with the football team. But for me, if you're asking me what I would do, I would be taking Jalen Walker.
Take Jalen Walker, right? Tommy, what about you? Given those
options. I'm Tony, they're echoing me on they take tackle at 5. I think even with Graham there, I'm going offensive line, the best old lineman.
I'm not convinced that they will, but I am in agreement that I would do that.
I mean, Trevor's he's the
part
prize.
of the other thing
you
too
protect
with like Walker, okay, is that I look, if they trade back to 8 and take Walker and they get an extra 3rd rounder out of it, hell yeah, because I think that 3rd rounder, there's going to be some interesting players in that range. I think there are, as I said earlier, that 3rd edge rusher type guy, that Kyle Kennard guy, that maybe isn't a completely fully well-rounded guy that you want to play every down, but I'll take that guy at 70. You know, and I think there'll be those guys there at 70.
Yes.
And whereas I don't think you're going to find a guy. Now, you might, Anthony Belton from NC State, for instance, interesting developmental offensive tackle. But I don't know you're going to find a walk in the door, improve your team definitively on the offensive line, at least at tackle, unless you go 5. I think you can find that at defensive tackle, corner, other positions as you get a little later into the draft. We didn't include corner. I mean, Will Johnson hasn't been able to do much in the offseason process. Right. Had he gone out and run a 4.42, then maybe we'd be looking at him a little bit. I just think if you want corner, you look at pick 36, man, there's probably going to be a really good one sitting there for you.
But if you're going to do it, you better do it then.
Right. It does fall off good. There are some interesting guys. Matt Miller brought up Kobe Bryant. Was it Kansas?
Yeah.
All right. there's a few. Dorian Strong.
Talking about the
Virginia
other positions
Tech.
we're talking about here, like edge, defensive tackle. Like there's depth in this class to those spots. And corner, it's top heavy.
Which, man, if you could get one more top 100 pick out of this draft, right? And if you move back, you still might get the offensive lineman of your choice at like 8 or 9.
Right.
It's possible. You do that, and you get the extra third rounder, let's say, right? Then you get 36. Boom, I can get a big-time defensive tackle there if I want to. I got my lineman at 9 or 10. I can get, or maybe I go corner there and get a defensive tackle at 70, or there's so many ways to do it. I want 16 picks between 36 and 88. Honestly,
that's what's nice about what we need and what the draft is offering, right? You got some
based on what that first round grade thing we talked about earlier. I think virtually every team would take about 10 picks there after 13 in that 100.
And somebody brought up yesterday. They said, "Oh wow, I didn't think this was a great wide receiver draft." I heard him talking about it. I think it must have been on Helmets and Heels because Matt Miller. We're asking him about that. It wasn't that he was saying it's this great wide receiver class. He felt like I think there's a top heavy first round consideration group, and then there's a kind of a lull, and when you get into the third or fourth round, depending on what you're looking for, there's some guys that can help you. They're not going to be all around Brian Thomas's, you know what I mean? But it's like there's
looking for a role player.
Once those first 4 or 5 come off the board, feels like there's a lull. And then when you get into round 3, round 4, I think that was his point that there's going to be some targets of opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I always felt like the second, third, fourth round is really good football players. They know how to play the game.
Let's get Foye in the 6th again.
Or 6th round.
We didn't take him, but we'll take that. All right, let's welcome in Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All right, Mia O'Brien. Today we're asking folks if the usual suspects plus Mason Graham go in the top 4 picks. Okay, so Carter, Hunter, and Graham are the 3 non-quarterbacks.
Yep.
What's your preferred direction at 5? And you can't trade out. You have to stay and pick. What do you like?
Jalen Walker.
You do. Okay. That was one of our options.
If you had asked me that a week ago, I probably would have said Will Campbell. But in reflecting upon conversations I had at the Combine, and I believe I said it on the air yesterday, and if I didn't, I'll say it now. I walked out onto the floor, and one of my friends in the scouting world, who has a lot of connections, of course, in the scouting world, came up to me and said, do you want to know if you had to start a franchise tomorrow, who is the one player, regardless of position, that I would say that's the guy who I want to mold my entire franchise around because he's high IQ, high character, great football player, just a good, solid athlete? Jalen Walker.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, really? And he said, go listen to him right now, because he was at the podium at the time. And obviously he's well-spoken. That doesn't necessarily determine a great football player. But from the returns that this person had seen in his evaluation, some of his contemporaries' evaluation, he felt like Jalen Walker was a game changer. And, of course, my pushback was I always have concerns about, quote-unquote, chess pieces because I see what happens when Isaiah Simmons goes to the Arizona Cardinals. Zayvon Collins maybe this is an Arizona Cardinals thing. Point being, these chess pieces that come out of college that you can move in multiple spots, if they're not maximized and not put in the right 1 or 2 positions to succeed, you put their head in a beehive year 1, as Quincy Williams so eloquently once stated here in Jacksonville, and all of a sudden now you've lost them for the next 2 to 3 years. Devin Lloyd, the argument can be made that he came in as a chess piece. And obviously the previous regime did not put him necessarily in the best positions to succeed if your hope was that he would be a Pro Bowler by the end of year 3.
Yeah. All right, what do you got coming up today?
We are going to, speaking of the top 4 picks, speak with Corey Kinnan of the Browns Wire as our countdown continues. We're really evaluating the Tennessee, Cleveland, New York, New England side of things so that we have an idea, Mike, as to whether or not any of those consensus top 3 players will be there at 5 for the Jaguars.
How you feel? You see MJD's mock today? What he had for the Jags?
Who's
Maurice
mock?
Jones-Drew.
Oh, no, I did not get a chance. I saw he was on Move the Sticks, too. I'm going to listen to it on the way home.
It went Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Abdul Carter. Shedeur Sanders. Will Campbell. Who'd we take at 5? Ted McMillan. MJD, you're excommunicated. What the hell? Travis Hunter, he had going
he couldn't
7.
even give us Ashton Genty in Duval. Come on now.
You went Genty to the Raiders and Travis Hunter to the Jets.
And not to spoil, if I look glazed over, by the way, if you're watching on the live stream, it's because I'm finishing up Mia's Mock Draft 2.0, which will drop on Monday morning. And not to spoil it, but I keep coming back to, not once but twice this week, we have heard Liam Cohen reference the wing tee, both in that clip that was released ahead of the Hunt's release last night when he was up speaking at the big New England sports football convention, and then also at the owners' meetings on Monday. He has twice referenced the wing tee, and I'm not saying that is concrete in stone, but that's where I don't see Ted McMillan as a member of the modern wing tee, even if it's just say that it's wing tee principles, because the wing tee, Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, like that is to suggest you are a running first operation.
So. Yeah.
And so that's why, for me, if you're not going to go with the quote-unquote sure pick that is Mason Graham with the highest floor, that speaks to me as offensive line or someone who can help you with the run game.
Yeah.
Like Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone else. Maybe the individual who I have the Jaguars taking in this week's mock draft. Okay, I'm going to go now. Bye.
Okay.
All right.
Guess we'll have to wait till Monday to find out.
McMillan, because he's a mean run blocker.
Yes. All right. That'll do it for us today. Tom McManus, no dad bods this weekend, right?
No dad bods this week. But I just found out our man Arlie Johnson hooking me up with some Iceman tickets tonight.
Nice. All right.
Man, going to be awesome.
Enjoy that.
The youngest to
enjoy that. Tony, have a good weekend.
You too.
See if the Braves can keep their streak rolling. Dylan, I will
not doubt it.
See you Sunday at the first tee, young man. And everybody else have a great one. And we'll be back Monday counting down the days to the NFL draft for your Jacksonville Jaguars here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever.